And now,
it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. How's it going over there, Ben?
Doing well. How are you?
Super irritated.
What about?
Well, we can't dive into it.
Okay.
Literally can't dive into it because we're going to talk to Jonesy, Chris Jones, coming up here momentarily about Alex Jensen and the new direction of Utah basketball, and Jonesy, a player and assistant at Utah guy. So looking forward to talking to him. But yeah, super irritated. And been instructed not to dive into it.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, I'm kind of a loose cannon, Ben, but when I'm told I can't do something, I'm probably
You
not.
really want to do it.
Talk about why I'm irritated today?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dying to.
Okay.
And I think I will be able to complain about it at some point because I know everybody is like, oh, Jake's got a complaint? I want to listen to that.
Yeah, it's what everyone tunes in for.
No, but this is a big one. But I can't do it.
Okay.
Not today anyway. All right, let's get out to the zone phone. Joining us now here on Jake and Ben to talk about the Ute basketball coaching hire, Alex Jensen, someone that knows him well, former Utah player and assistant, Chris Jones, with us here on Jake and Ben. Chris, thanks for a few minutes. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
It seemed like Alex Jensen was the number one name for Utah as soon as this job opened up. They officially hired him yesterday. I guess, what were your thoughts when you saw this news?
Oh, I was just ecstatic for Alex and the university in general, and you know all the tradition and all the history and all the fans. I think that's the guy that everybody wanted, and they got it done. So I'm really happy for everybody involved.
Before I ask a question, can I tell you this, Ben? I've met you, Jonesy, a couple of times through Coach Lacombe when you've come to visit. But can I tell you that I feel like I know you like extremely well because Coach Lacombe. I mean, you think Majera stories are a thing? Coach Lacombe tells Jonesy stories, all good, of course, of course. But I feel like I know you so well.
Well, that's good. Well, me and Timmy spent a lot of time taking care of Coach Majerus.
Yeah, I bet. I believe that. Hey, speaking of, taking care of people and the demeanor that Rick Majerus brought, I can't imagine a more different person than Alex Jensen. Am I just seeing that from the outside? Do they have any similarities as far as coaching style on the inside?
I sure wouldn't think so. I think that Alex probably took all the really good that he learned from Coach and then turned it into his own personality. I think they're probably going to be completely different, but the knowledge and the feel and their IQ for the game is probably very similar.
In your alumni group, in that tight circle of Ute alumni, assistant coaches, anybody connected to that program back in the glory days, what is the sentiment on that text chain?
Oh, it was just the guy that they had to get. It was the guy that checked all the boxes. He's going to energize the fan base. He's going to energize, everybody that was so into it back in the 90s and early 2000s. I think that the families out there that now have kids that are, in that, those teenage years, they're going to be raving about Alex Jensen, and it's just going to invigorate, I think, the older people, the younger people. I think it's just going to invigorate and inspire a lot of people to get this thing going again where it needs to go.
Chris,
he just checks all the boxes.
Yeah. He does. He certainly does with the experience and his understanding of the state of Utah, the culture, and then, of course, the school. Beyond that, though, and I hate to sound like a broken record, I just ask this question every time. I'm pretty exasperated on how you build a winning program in basketball anymore. Unless you have millions and millions of dollars coming in, the transfer portal is just so brutal. Kids leave for seemingly no reason other than money, which is fine. Good for them. They can take care of themselves. But I find it really difficult to build a program. You've overseen programs. You've worked in programs. Do you have a strategy that you think would work consistently?
I think right now it's two things. You got to have money to get them, and then you've got to quickly. You used to be able to develop a relationship with a kid over a year or two of recruiting them, then a year or two of coaching them, and then by the time they were a junior or senior, they were ready to go. Now that thing has been expedited 100-fold. You've got to be able to build a relationship with a kid in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, getting them out of the portal. Then you got to pay them, and then when you get them, you got to love them. You got to show them how much how much you care about them, how you can develop them. It's fast. It's it's like dating on steroids. You gotta get to it. You gotta show them that you love them. You gotta prove that you love them, and you gotta give them the skills and tools they need to be good and be good in a hurry. And then, if you have that with them, then hopefully they'll stick around for a couple of years. But it's fast. You got to do it fast.
You have connections to Utah State as well. I was always impressed with how Utah State adapted to the Mountain West when they moved into that league, because that was a huge step up for them. The Mountain West was a really good league at the time, and give Stu a lot of credit for succeeding in that situation. Similarly, Utah is now building a program in the Big 12. How challenging is that to build it and get a thing going in a league like that?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, it's really hard, and you just have to be open to any and everything. You got to do the portal, you got to do the international recruiting. You've got to take a couple. Hopefully, you can get a couple young freshmen that you can keep in your program and develop, and they want to be there and they want to work. I mean, you look at BYU. They've obviously done a great job the last couple of years, but they still have some of those good freshmen that they took 5, 6, 7 years ago. Richie Saunders, Trevin Nell, Trey Stewart, Dallin Hall. All those guys are now contributing. Then they added guys in the portal, and they've done it. So you still have to do everything. You got a portal, you got to do international, and you still have to take some good young freshmen, and hopefully you can keep them for a year or two, and then when they're ready to go, they're ready to go.
Last one for me really quick. What would an addition of Andre Miller mean to the program?
Well, I think Alex checks like 9 of the boxes of the 10, and then you add Andre Miller, and then I think the whole cycle is complete. I mean, I don't think there's not a lot of kids out there nowadays that are in that 19 to 20 that you're going to be recruiting that probably know who Andre Miller is. They probably heard of him, but I promise you this, their circle around them, their dads, their uncles, their AAU coaches, they're all going to know who Andre Miller was, because Andre Miller was a special player in the NBA for 15 or 20 years, and more importantly that, he was a special person who did everything right. And I think, with Alex, you check a ton of boxes, and then if you add Andre, that checks any box that wasn't checked by Alex, then that box is checked.
Not everybody has lit up Mike Bibby in the Elite Eight.
Sure.
That's pretty good. Jonesy, thank you for coming on.
In the NBA.
Yeah, amazing. We really appreciate.
Andre lit up a lot of people.
Oh yeah, he sure did. Appreciate you, and listen, drop by the radio command center again. Come say hi to us. All right, buddy.
Appreciate you, boys. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks, Chris.
There you go, Chris Jones, former Ute player and assistant, and one of that Ute basketball circle that is so excited.
I think he's exactly right. I had forgotten that Alex Jensen never played in the NBA. I just kind of assumed so many of those guys did. He just went overseas right away. But, even Hano Metala got a couple of games, and Britton Johnson played, and obviously Andre and Doliak played, but Van Horn forever. He's exactly right. Like, everyone's parent, if they end up with Andre Miller as well, everybody will remember Andre Miller. The kids won't. It's been that long since he's been in the NBA, but the stories you'll be able to tell about Andre and the stories Andre can tell. I mean, the number of teammates he was with, Carmelo, may have crossed paths with AI at one point because he played for both Denver and Philly. I don't know if he was on the same team.
He was traded for AI.
For AI?
Yeah.
Okay. But, man, he was just around forever and played on some really good teams.
Well, the best Utah teams ever. Because, this may be a difference from other celebrity alumni hires. We've talked about how Alex has a great resume. But he also was not a star. Like you say, you're surprised he didn't play in the NBA because a lot of those guys did. Yeah, but he wasn't as good as all
he
those
was
guys.
not.
That wasn't his role on the team. That's not why he was popular, or I guess notable, because he was the one Rick Majerus put out as the example.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't because he fell in line and he did the stuff that you don't want to do, like play defense.
He's a great defensive player.
Guard above your level.
He's a great defender.
Rebound, share the basketball, all these things that Rick Majerus wanted to happen. He was not gifted athletically. The Utes as a team, even with Andre Miller, were not necessarily gifted athletically. I mentioned the Mike Bibby thing. That team was a super athletic team. Remember, what was his name? Dickerson? The wing. Who was Michael? Was that his first name? Anyway, like that team. But then to beat North Carolina in the Final Four, and you can go look up who was on that team.
Right. It's a dream team.
Yeah. I mean, Utah was not as athletic as those teams. That's not what, Majerus and Utah and all that stuff was all about. And Alex Jensen was kind of the poster of that. Yeah, you're going to pass it to Keith Van Horn, just like Alex Jensen does.
Yeah, right.
The rest of you guys are going to pass it to number 44 because Alex Jensen does. And then you're going to run back and you're going to play hard on defense and you're going to do the hard little things that this program is built on, blah, 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 because Alex does. And that's why he was notable. And that's why he was popular when he played for the team, because he wasn't Keith Van Horn.
Yeah.
But he was this overachiever and a local guy. And yes, being a mission kid played into it. All those things.
Traditionally, and not always, but traditionally, those are the better coaches.
Right.
Traditionally, non-stars are the better coaches.
Phil Jackson wasn't a star.
Right. Jerry Sloan kind of was, but he was a star for being such a hard-nosed player, not because he was super flashy Mr. Talent.
Right.
And there have been some examples. Larry Bird's probably the best player/coach in recent memory.
Such a bad GM. I can't believe I didn't draft him the other day.
And even then, if you look at his coaching staff, it was like Rick Carlisle. It's like, he just surrounded himself with the best NBA coaches. They just hadn't become NBA coaches yet. So he did a great job of building out a staff, and then he was Larry Bird, which is fine. Good, it worked. They got to the conference finals. Regardless, the guys you want are, kind of those workhorses, and Alex Jensen was that for Utah.
Yes, exactly. So it's not hiring Patrick Ewing being my point, because Alex Jensen was not what Patrick Ewing was to Georgetown.
Right.
He's a legend up in those halls for a different reason, and being like an uber talented NBA prospect was not it.
So, again, if I'm a Utah fan, I'm excited. I'm excited about this name. Of course, as you mentioned, this is probably the same energy they had 4 years ago or whatever.
It's
they
different.
Made the last hire. It is different because it's a more familiar name.
Well, it's different because of the energy within the circles that we were just talking to Jonesy about. Like again, it's funny working with Britton and Coach Lacombe. You get to kind of watch it from afar or whatever. But there's a ton of energy in that circle. And it's because of Rick Majerus. Yeah, Tim told me a great story off the air. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing. But he randomly got sat next to Tom Izzo on a plane.
Okay.
Because they're going to the same, AAU event or whatever, right? And Tom Izzo talked his ear off the whole time because of Rick Majerus. He just fired Rick Majerus questions at him for a whole plane ride.
Yeah.
Because that guy has this weird...
He has an
aura in the basketball world. And if you were part of this, I dealt with Majerus Club, everybody else is totally
likes to know.
It's a weird...
The good and the bad.
It's a weird circle.
Yeah, it is.
It's a weird connected community that is strangely energetic. Yeah. And I think fans know that and latch on to that stuff.
Sure.
And it's part of why it is different than 4 years ago. But that traditionally doesn't have anything to do with winning, although it is a little different in today's day and age with NIL. And maybe you can spin this into an influx of cash, and maybe it's different in that way. But he's still got to go out and coach. I mean, it's like the Kevin Young thing we talked about in that hire. I mean, he's still got to go out and figure it out on the floor. But if you talk to those guys, the Jonesies, they're going to tell you he's going to kill it.
Look, what's working for Kevin Young right now? He's coaching the hell out of that team.
Yeah.
It's not just that they have a $2 million point guard on their team. Their $2 million point guard is the fifth best player they have.
Yeah.
He's not closing every game.
Right.
Or he doesn't have the ball in his hands at least. So you're going to have to go out there and coach, which I do think Alex Jensen should be able to do. Is it fair to ask you, how quickly does he need to win?
No. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, in college basketball, that expectation has been totally skewed.
It has.
Like the amount of time that Craig Smith actually, where people were like, he's building,
yeah,
is longer than I think now. Anyway, that's as long as it's going to get. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So what was that? 3 seasons? I mean, Alex will get 3 seasons, but in today's day and age in college basketball, you should be able to flip it in 1 or 2. Honestly,
yeah.
If
great.
Utah State again has proven anything, it's get creative and figure out how to get guys and then coach them. I mean, apparently it doesn't even matter who coaches them.
Well, they better cut him a fat check that he can go out and get some guys, and then it's his job to figure out what to do with those guys and then keep them around.
Yeah.
That's another big aspect of it. You've got to get those guys. Like Davon Smith, was the great point guard for Utah last year and had all the triple-doubles and had played really well and kind of looked like, hey, Craig is building something. Craig maybe is starting to figure it out, and then he lost him in the offseason. Now, credit Davon Smith. He was coming off the bench at St. John's. He probably got a bag. St. John's is awesome. They have taken off. They're like 26-5, something like that this year.
Rick Pitino can coach. Won the league for the first time in 50 years.
He can coach. It's like the first time Creighton's not even in the conversation. Marquette's not even in the conversation in that conference. So that wasn't a terrible choice, but you've got to hold on to those guys. Those guys are difference makers, and Craig Smith couldn't do it. That was one of the issues. And if it was money, he couldn't convince people to give him the money to keep those guys around.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big part of Alex Jensen's success level.
You know what's kind of funny about Rick Pitino, and I actually feel this way about Kyle Whittingham kind of too, is that they're grandfathered into the new rules in this sense, that they can still coach hard and get away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They brought some legend with them.
They can still coach guys and coach hard and, coach in a traditional manner. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying harken back to Rick Majerus. I think those days are in the rearview mirror. But, Rick Pitino and Kyle Whittingham can go out there. Like, Kyle Whittingham can bust some butts at practice. You know what I mean? Like, and those players aren't automatically going to transfer because it's kind of like, well, Whit's been doing this for a while. Whit yelled at Luther Ellis like that. You know what I mean? Like,
there was a video that just went semi-viral of Pitino at halftime yelling at his guys, saying you guys are effing embarrassing.
Right.
Everyone was like, "All right, that's great." And you're right. New coach can't do that.
I don't think young coach can do that anymore. No, yeah. I honestly, I don't know how young is Dan Hurley. I can't believe he gets away with.
Well, he probably does it every break.
I can't believe he gets away with his behavior. Who would want to play for that guy? Be my point.
Yeah.
Rick Pitino's obviously a lunatic, but not like that.
Yeah.
Like that?
Different type of lunatic.
And his brother Bobby is that, but loses.
Yeah.
Like that?
Like you shouldn't be able to get away with acting like that when you lose.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. And you usually can't, which is why one of the Hurleys will be gone and one of the Hurleys will stick around. One of them wins, one of them doesn't.
So, all right. Maybe Andre Miller would be grandfathered in to really coach hard. Again, getting back to the benefits of adding on to that staff. Like, well, yeah, I got yelled at, but it's Andre Miller.
Yeah, he has forever old head style. Like, he's always felt old.
Yeah.
Even at Utah, they're like, this guy's 30.
Mature. That's a mature guy right there.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. We'll do top 3 stories coming up next. I think Christian blew a huge opportunity.
Oh, okay.
And so we can talk about that.
All right.
At the 50. I told you I'm in a bad mood today.
Okay.
All right. Stay tuned. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Alex Jensen heading back to Salt Lake City to take over the reins of his alma mater. I'm sure the conversation was, I'll take this job and I will win games for you at the University of Utah. I'll get the crowd back. I'll do all of this stuff, but I'm going to need this. And I don't know what that dollar amount is, but it's got to be significantly more than what Craig Smith had to work with.
If I'm Alex and I'm fully honest as I'm sitting in the office with Mark Harlan, I'm saying, you realize if you just gave Craig Smith all this and you put it into a roster next year, you realize Craig could probably win, right? Well, yeah, but it's the image thing. We need you. NBA guy, okay, then I'm going to need this. So this is actually really good news for the University of Utah fans because I do think Alex is smart enough to do that, knowing that he can't do it unless he's got the players, and players are expensive nowadays.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports. It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. You know, it's crazy. People just don't watch music videos anymore. My kids watch music videos with me all the time. It's like what they do when they're in the car with me. Because then I get to listen to music and they get to be entertained. And they love this music video. And
I don't know if I know. To your point, I don't know what this music video is. I know the song.
Great music video. You should absolutely check it out. But we ask people all the time, like, hey, what's your favorite music video? Because we're looking for, ideas or whatever. And people are so like, oh, I have no idea. I haven't watched a music video since Truman was president.
Yeah.
It's like music videos were so hip and cool when I was a kid and stuff. Like
mini movies.
If you had not seen a particular music video, you were cast out of society. Like you couldn't go to Churchill Junior High anymore.
You haven't seen Korn Freak on a Leash? You crazy?
If you didn't,
they spent like $4 million or something on the video. It was stupid.
If you didn't know what the box was, like, because not everybody could afford MTV, but everybody could get the box.
Here we go. Draft idea. Best music videos.
Oh, yeah.
Have we not done that?
How have we not done that? I'm in. But, yeah, so anyway, that's a cool music video, though. Umbrella. I've never been prouder of my 3-year-old, and she was just barely 3 at the time, when somebody said, hey, grab an umbrella. And my 3-year-old goes, Ella, It was incredible.
Yeah,
I took it as a huge dad win. All right, top 3 stories. Brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. Christian, where are we starting today?
Number 1, the Jazz are at the Raptors tonight. And boy, did you see those injury reports?
Not as steep as the last one, but still almost exactly as steep as the last one. So the Jazz are going to be shorthanded once again. John Collins still not playing. Lowry Markkanen still not playing. Jordan Clarkson still not playing. We know Taylor Hendricks is out, and then Keontae George is questionable.
Yeah.
So Colin Sexton's back.
Honestly, you can't keep that guy on the sideline. He will lead a revolt.
Yeah.
Because he wants to play that badly.
He's like the Tasmanian devil.
Oh, right. Man. Which, again, is supposed to be something that we value.
Yeah. And you know what? I do.
I do, too.
I do. It's fun to watch Colin play.
It is. And his effort level is awesome. I always said this, Ben, Rusty Westbrook is not my favorite player of all time. I do not like the way he manufactured stats and stuff like that. It truly irritates me. But you could never say that dude didn't play hard.
Plays hard every single possession.
That guy plays his butt off every single second he's on the floor. And you got to respect it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to respect it. So, I don't know. Toronto's 5 games better than the Jazz? Something like that? At least 5 wins better.
Yeah. The 20 wins where they are already. I don't think the Jazz are going to get to 20. They could, but they're not going to get to 22. So, you lose this game to Toronto. I think you take them out of the conversation entirely of teams you're watching to see if the Jazz could catch them. And in all honesty, it's not like Toronto's going to lose 20 straight. Like, the Jazz are never going to catch the Toronto Raptors.
I don't think so.
And then
either.
They play them again a week from now, right? In the next week. So, yeah, I think the Jazz are. These 3 games are huge. They lost to Washington. You play Toronto. You play Philly on Sunday. Those are kind of the 3 biggest games as far as bad opponents go on the road that I think are going to be probably determine what your final standings are.
So what you're saying is let SVHT cook.
Let him go, baby.
Just let him loose. How many shots?
I don't think you have to let him. He's the real Tasmanian devil. He's really uncontrollable.
How many shots can SVHT get up tonight?
So my bet on Wednesday night, when was that game? Wednesday night was who gets more rebounds, Oscar Tshiebwe or Svi Mykhailiuk gets shots up, because they were both going to play 12 minutes and they're both masters.
What was the verdict?
Svi beat him. and I think Tshiebwe had like 12.
Hold on, I'm bringing it up. Let's see here. Tshiebwe had 13.
In how many minutes?
In 19.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then SVHT played 19 as well and got up 2 more shots.
Yeah.
So not only beat him, but but got up 2 more.
Yeah, it wasn't close. So good for Svi.
In 19 minutes,
That's a lot.
that's so
15
funny.
shots.
That's so
and
funny.
6 assists, meaning he had the ball in his hand a lot.
He did.
And he's playing some point guard because when you don't have Keontae George out there and Clarkson didn't play and Sexton didn't play, the Jazz are a little thin in that set. But
they should see what Shibwe looks like at the point.
Sure, why not? Let Cody run some. Honestly, I'd put the ball in Cody's hands, which they did. So.
They let Kenny cook last year.
They did. Kenny played a lot of point guard. Kenny Lofton.
Sure did.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens tonight. Toronto's just a better team than the Jazz, and they kind of have to play their guys. So,
Christian, over under SVHT shots, 15.5.
Over. Smash.
the hard part is he just may not play. So if
he's going to play.
sometimes Will's just like, nah, we got Colin, you're not playing.
You mean they want to lose?
Well, no, I think if they want to lose, they're going to play him because he was 4 of 15 in this game. But,
if they want to lose, absolutely they're going to play.
One of these nights, he's going to have a night where he starts taking all these shots and they're going in.
Yeah, you're talking.
It's the real THT.
You're talking about the THT Charlotte game from a couple of years ago.
Going for 40.
Right.
So tonight he's going to hit 14 shots and Will's going to be like, Svi, we got to pull you.
Locke still references Ben Simmons' big night in Utah.
Uh-huh. The Philly game. The Philly, Jordan Clarkson also had a huge game.
Huge game. Yeah. Ben, remind me who won that game.
Jazz.
It gets back to the LaMelo Ball thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're the one who plays like that on a 14-win team, what does that say about you? Yeah, Ben Simmons, you had a big night, dude. Your team took the L.
Shout out to our guy, Hot Dog, Taylor Horton-Tucker. I had not looked up his numbers this year. Hot Dog! He's shooting 37% from 3. That is the difference between him being an NBA player and not being an NBA player.
No, he's not an NBA player.
I think he is. And if he shoots 37, he's only 24 again. He's such a child.
I know. But they saw how Hot Dog helped the Jazz dump games. Like, somebody has to score in these games. That remains true. Again, back to the Ben Simmons had a big night. Like, somebody has to score. Embiid didn't play that night, if memory serves. Like, if somebody has the ball in their hand, it's going to accidentally go in at a 30% rate. You know what I mean? Like, somebody...
Sure, absolutely. But somebody also has to be on these rosters. And they will default to, Ish Smith played 12 years for 12 teams. Talon might just play for 12 different teams.
I
in his
agree.
Career.
But it's because he helps you lose. Is he still on the Bulls?
The Bulls, yeah. Yeah, they held on to him.
Yeah, they held on to him because at some point they thought they were going to have to boot the season.
They're going to make the play. Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. Good for them. I hope to see Taylor Horton-Tucker getting playoff minutes.
And by the way, we're crediting somebody as having an NBA future because of a decision that the Bulls made.
It's the best decision they've made in a while.
Letting Hot Dog cook. Let's see how it works out for him. I watched that play. It sucked.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Number 2, a little bit of Saturday night college hoops tomorrow. BYU hosting Utah in the final regular season game.
Alex Jensen should crash this party.
What, go to the game?
Go to the game. Show up. Wear bright red courtside. Go sit next to Ryan Smith, assuming Ryan's going to be at the game. It's no Jazz game. So go wear bright red, find Ryan and Danny, and park yourself right by him.
Oh, man, see, I disagree. I would, if you really wanted to make a statement, I would sit right, courtside you got, I'd sit right next to, like, Apostle or higher.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I thought Danny was in that conversation.
Not like
honorary.
Whatever, because there's sports fans in the leadership. Yeah, who I'm sure one of them wouldn't mind going to the game and sitting courtside. But that would be the statement.
I would do even more. I would go a step further. I would find the highest ranking member who's a Utah fan. And I would put him in all red, and I'd bring him with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's going red. Oh, I thought you were finding the BYU fan.
I honestly don't think it matters, but yeah, I'm with you. Because wasn't that always a flex for Ute fans over BYU? That which president graduated from Utah? Was it Monson? President Monson?
I can't remember.
But that was always it was like, well, the president of the church is a Utah grad. So, yeah, I'd go with that flex.
Yeah. Uchtdorf was a big Utah guy, right?
Was he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, honestly. President Nelson is a Utah guy? Yeah, see, that's a flex people like.
Yeah.
I'd go with that flex.
Well, he graduated in 1945?
Well, he is, I think, 100 years old, 99, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
a flex.
He's a doctor. Knows how to take care of himself.
Absolutely. BYU should win this game by 1,000.
Yeah, they should. But
Utah has been playing hard. They played West Virginia tough.
No, they showed some pride. Yeah, I think the team has some pluck. But yeah, BYU should. I mean, and they're playing out of their minds right now.
Yeah, they're one of the 10 hottest teams in college basketball.
Right. So I don't think we'll see what happened earlier in the year repeated. But yeah, I don't expect Utah to roll over. They haven't done that since they lost their coach. I mean, they've had every excuse to not play hard, and they've continued to do so. So yeah, absolutely.
And for a lot of these guys, it's their last regular season college basketball game. Certainly a lot of them, it's their last regular season college basketball game at Utah. And so maybe they make a game of it. Rivalries are weird. Rivalries throw everything into the wind. So we'll see what happens.
If it were me, it'd get real chippy.
Okay.
Like I'm a severe underdog. So we're gonna get real chippy in this game. We're gonna make it into one of those rivalry games.
Yeah.
No, you don't agree?
Sure. Why not? Make it an all-timer.
Our coach is gone.
Yeah,
so
are they going to find the
and,
coach? He's on his way out the door.
Yeah, right. We can both agree. I don't think Utah's going to do a CBI or anything like that, right?
No, I can't imagine. Which is too bad, honestly, because these are the seniors. If the kids want to play, let them play.
Yeah, but it costs the school money.
It does cost money.
And then they have to continue to pay the coaching staff, which I don't know. I would hope if they move on from everybody gets a nice severance.
But maybe Alex Jensen says, go for it. I want to see who can play. I want to watch these kids play now under this, new idea. Yeah. I would say let them play. I would be surprised if they did.
Yeah. Caring about experiences for young people, yeah, I would say they should play. Nobody cares about that, Ben.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that at all anymore.
What's next?
Number 3, the Utah Hockey Club won 4-2 at Detroit last night. They're back in action today against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Loose puck for Jack McBain. Backhander in front. Krause drags and scores! A highlight reel goal for Jack McBain and Lawson Krause. And Utah's blue-collar line dazzles us here in Detroit.
Unbelievable music that they play throughout the Detroit. They play a lot of Eminem because obviously it's Detroit. But that was a great game. Gunther gave them a 1-0 lead early. They fall behind 2-1 and just looked like the inferior team. Detroit was all over the net. They looked really aggressive. And then they bounced back and tied it up in the second, took the lead early in the third, and then added a fourth. Fended off a lot of penalty kills that they had to. They played well, and Chicago was a very beatable team tonight. And I believe they also picked up a point on Calgary last night, right? So,
did you guys see Sergachev punch that guy in the face?
Absolutely. I love that.
He absolutely decked him.
Yeah, he socked a guy in the face. That's hockey, baby.
Being able to score goals is nice.
It really helps.
Yeah, it really helps. It really helps a lot. And the Utah Hockey Club is not, I would say, a complete hockey team. They have issues, but scoring goals really shouldn't be one of them. They've got guys who pack a punch. And so, that is exciting. You get down early, but don't count them out. They go out there and rattle off a few, no problem. So
trade deadline today, 1:00. We'll see if they go out and add more talent to that team. But done a lot of work through signing contracts, as we mentioned.
Again, no word if they traded for Yzerman yet.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Bring him out of retirement.
You'll probably only hear about it here if they do.
It's been busy, the trade deadline. I have to admit, I don't know these names. I hope he's good. I'm not quite there yet.
All right, stay tuned. I think Christian really blew it. I'll explain that next.
Do we have hockey tickets to give away, too?
We'll give away hockey tickets at 11, so stay tuned for that. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, bro. You hear us every day with our crazy opinions.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, now, it's time to hear from you.
Hey, great show.
Download the KSL Sports app and fire off your thoughts with the call-in tab on the bottom of your screen.
Your show is fantastic. It's the one that captivates me the most.
You can tell PK to stop singing.
G-Bang!
Let Jake and Ben know what you really think of the Jazz. Woo! Tell Hans and Scotty about your favorite barbecue spot or what color of tie JJ should be wearing on TV. The best entries will be played on the air. Download the KSL Sports app now and hit the call-in button to let your voice be heard.
I think you guys do an incredible job.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. This segment brought to you by Peach Doors and Windows. Amazing home transformations begin with Peach, where 5-star reviews are the norm. Call them today for your free in-home estimate, 801-566-1255. Peach Doors and Windows. Also, Win Ticket Wednesday. Don't miss your chance to win big every week. Listen to The Zone all day on Wednesday for your chance to win on a Win Ticket Wednesday. Quick note from our friend Ute Shasta Trailer. Talking about presidents of the church who went to Utah.
Yep.
Says David O. McKay, Utah, 1897. Gordon B. Hinckley, Utah, 1932. And Russell M. Nelson, Utah, 1945. MD in 1947. Wow, knocked out med school in 2 years?
A genius.
Okay. All right, Ben. I think I'm angry a little bit at Christian today. I'm irritated in general. It's not really his fault. And this really isn't his fault either, other than I think he missed an opportunity.
Okay, what'd you do wrong?
So Christian's been filling in for Hatch on the morning show.
Yeah.
And in the drive time, we've gone back to doing traffic reports, and the producers are doing traffic reports. So I tuned in this morning to hear Christian doing a traffic report.
How do you get these traffic reports?
I'm in a group chat with the
with
traffic
our friends
department.
at KSL News.
Yeah. And they send the script for the updates.
And do fine work.
You're not monitoring the cameras.
No, and Christian did fine. That's not my point. My point is, you can really play traffic. I mean, I'm a radio guy.
Sure.
I believe in great radio. I think radio is a wonderful, wonderful medium.
Yeah.
The outlandish traffic reporter is absolutely a thing.
Yeah.
Like, Christian should come up with a voice and a name.
Yeah.
He should be like Collision Chris or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I remember General Gridlock.
Rear End Ronnie.
You remember the general?
Yeah.
My dear friend, JT, the traffic babe?
Skidmark Steve?
Like,
because you're slamming on your brakes in the car?
How do we
Go
not...
by Skidmark Steve going forward.
How do we
Thanks
not
for the
have a name for Christian, the traffic reporter?
Yeah.
And how is he not be... Like, Christian, give me what you think, like, a parody of an actual traffic reporter would sound like.
Play it up.
Putting me on the spot.
I know it's hard. I know it. I'd like when people tell me, my wife, like a trained SEAL or something. She's like, she gets a kick out of when I do my FM radio voice because I like to make fun of FM radio DJs all the time.
But
then when she asks me to do it, I can't do it.
It's such a character that the Simpsons have Artie Pie in the sky, right?
Yes,
like it's so
right.
It's such a famous thing.
It's like an opportunity.
Even they have one.
You know
in
what
that
I mean?
World. Yeah.
If you come up with a voice.
Yeah. Do you have a script? Do you have the script?
Yeah.
Text me the script. Can you do it real quick, and I'll give you my best. Let's see if I can do it quickly for you.
Hey, everybody, coming up next.
Yeah, but you're
We're
going
spinning the hits.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Whitesnake. No, that's my FM.
Yeah, you're going music DJ.
Yeah, right. And then, not that I would ever go in one of these places, but like at a gentleman's club, the announcer at a gentleman's club that you can't even understand until they get to the name. Anyway. What would the traffic? You're gonna try and knock this out. Give us your best traffic reporter voice.
Benny Bumper or whatever. That's what he'll call me. Bumper to bumper. Still seeing wet roads, but I-15 is looking pretty good from Spanish Fork all the way up to Ogden. Think still a little slow as you try the big little Cottonwood Canyon. Take it easy. This is Benny Bumper with your traffic update.
I like Benny Bumper. That's good. What about Chopper Chris?
Chopper Chris is great.
This is Chopper Chris with your traffic report. Yeah.
From a computer in a room with no windows. Yeah, you just got to ham it up. You got to go for it. You got to work on it and try a couple of different characters.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Fender bender this morning.
Yeah.
At I-15 and 4500 South. I'm Chopper Chris.
Or just take Benny Bumper.
I like Collision Chris. That's funny.
Collision Chris
is good.
With your traffic report?
Yeah.
But you got to come up with a voice. You got to come up with a character.
I'll work on it.
I mean, the General Gridlock is a legend. That man is a legend. And what he would do, and he'd mix the military lingo into his traffic report. And he probably did Utah radio traffic reports for like 30 years.
He's probably a billionaire.
I hope he. I doubt it, but I hope he is.
I don't think I ever met General Gridlock.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't think you can get away with JT the traffic babe anymore. But she was great and a really cool person. So send in traffic voices on the call-in feature on the KSL Sports
app. And you got to
app.
have a name.
And let's get Christian a good name. So when he does his traffic reports, when he fills in for Hatch, he can have a name and kind of an idea on some voices. I don't know what Arnie Pie, good point. Like The Simpsons absolutely had that.
Trying to find out who General Gridlock was in real life.
This is Collision Chris.
Yeah. So you're going deep.
Oh,
you're going slow.
No, you know what?
You need to be whinier.
Whinier because you're usually, the traffic person is like shouting over the chopper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got to be high-pitched and annoying.
And yeah, it's not positive news. Like the traffic reporter is never like, maybe 1 out of 10 traffic reports is like, everything's free and clear. So yeah, whiny and kind of nasally and like you're yelling over something.
Yeah. So
or maybe just yelling. Maybe that's your thing. That could be funny.
I'm reading an old Deseret News article about it, and they won't tell me what his real name was. He also had a website, I won't say the name because...
Just scream it. Traffic jam on I-80 at 2700 West!
Yeah. Panic Pat. Just like a guy who's always terrified that it's dire. Yeah, just scream it like you're about to be in the accident. Like the chopper's going down that you're in. Like you've got to get it in at the last second before it hits the ground.
I
love that idea.
This is...
It's going to take some work because that's going to be hard to do. But that's the best idea we've had so far. Yeah, plane crash Perry or something like that. Like something. Yeah, helicopter crash Harry is what your name is.
Wailing Willie.
Yeah, something.
There used to be a radio guy in Dallas that used to cover Mavericks games and ask questions like an old-timey 20s reporter. And it was so funny. So funny. I think we could get some for Christian. Screaming like he's the one getting in the accident is pretty good.
I like the yelling.
Or just yelling in general.
Yeah, yelling's good.
All right. Stay tuned. More next. Jake and Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.